It's time for another quick take, ladies and gentlemen. I'm away from my equipment, so I'm recording it on my phone. But better this than nothing, right? So let's get right to it. Federer and Marin Cilic. Right now, the tournament is like a copy-paste of last year's Wimbledon, where Federer benefits from a couple of upsets in the draw, and, he hasn't dropped a set yet, and now here we are. It's a major final against Marin Cilic, and the last one didn't go too well for Cilic. I do expect this one to go better, but I'll say my pick right now. It's Roger Federer, and I'll start with the most, basic of points. The most basic point I can make is that a healthy Roger Federer since the beginning of 2017 has been the best player in the world, and there is no evidence right now that claim isn't true. So, in 2017, a healthy Roger Federer looked pretty unstoppable. We didn't get that at the US Open, but we did get that at Wimbledon and the Australian Open, and he won both of those tournaments. So right off the bat, there's that. But talking more specifically about Cilic and Federer, Cilic is, or at least in the past, right, has been a pretty difficult matchup for Federer. We remember the 2014, I hope I have my year right, the 2014 US Open semifinal where Cilic beat Federer. He killed him in straight sets. Then we remember the year after that, Wimbledon. So 2 Wimbledons ago, they played in what I believe was the quarterfinals, going off memory here, and that was a 5-setter, a very, very close match. So Cilic plays Federer pretty well, as he should. A talented, a player with assets like Marin Cilic has. And I think one of the major reasons for that is Cilic is fantastic at attacking the backhand corner, the right-handed backhand corner. His backhand cross-court is excellent, and his inside-out forehand is excellent. And, of course, he also enjoys pulling that forehand inside in. So I think that similar to Nadal, Cilic was great at attacking Federer's backhand, and not all righties are great at that. It's hard to do against Federer. But, last year, and we've talked about it at length, Federer's backhand isn't the same shot anymore. He's moved inside the court, and he's hitting that shot a lot flatter. And as we saw last year, it's made a huge difference in Roger Federer's game. So what Cilic was exploiting, especially, as I saw at the US Open in 2014, Wimbledon in 2015, we saw Cilic attack Federer's backhand and have a lot of success there. Can that be duplicated now? I'm not sure. Or is that going to be, is Cilic's ability to hit heavy, strong backhands cross court, which he's so good at, will that bother Roger Federer as much as it used to? Probably not. We saw, at the Wimbledon final last year, the match, very non-competitive before, I guess, Cilic apparently, not apparently, I mean, he was struggling with blisters, but it didn't become apparent until midway through the second set. It was funny, I actually tweeted in the match against Chung. Follow me on Twitter at Gil Gross, Gil with 2 L's _Gross. I actually tweeted during the Chung match, hey, it's almost like Chung has Marin Cilic syndrome. And then sure enough, at the next changeover, he, we see that he's getting treated for blisters. So that was one of my greatest tweets ever. But we saw, in the first set when it wasn't so apparent that Cilic was injured, Federer smoked Cilic in that set. So I think for Cilic, how can he win? How can he win? I could see a scenario where he outserves Roger Federer. I could see a scenario where he wins 1 or 2 tie breaks. If this match is played at the highest of high levels, then there shouldn't be too many breaks of serve. But I think that I'm going to keep this sort of short. I don't have that much, and it's been hard for me to watch Cilic throughout this tournament after the early rounds. I'd say that both Federer and Cilic have been equally as impressive in the tournament, so I don't think that really gives us any signals. I just think, what has made Cilic successful against Federer, and by the way, that success, it's limited, but what's made him at least competitive against Roger, and of course, in the case of 2014 U.S. Open, dominant against Federer. I don't know if he can go back to that well and replicate that, because Federer's backhand is a different shot now. So I guess that's really the only insight I have for you about this match. Mentally, I think Cilic wasn't the same player after that Wimbledon final. For the rest of the year, he wasn't the same player. He got upset in the U.S. Open, and he wasn't quite good after the U.S. Open either. So mentally there are questions, but my gut, and I don't know really exactly what I'm basing this on, my gut is that he was able to kind of cleanse himself of that loss during the offseason. I know he practiced with Roger Federer during the offseason, and I think with 2 months, I think that was a major career disappointment, but I think that he's recovered from that. And like I said, I don't have a lot of hard evidence, but that's my gut. So that's it. I'll have, of course, a more in-depth, match analysis video coming for you after the final. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.